We're all good to go, maybe? Yep, sounds good. All right, it's your boy HD Mex here over at AlmaCon 2019. We're taking a little intermission from before we get to grand finals, but first we have a very special guest with us today, the loveliest voice actress. We got ourselves Sandy Fox, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, everybody! Yay! Saying hello from snowy AlmaCon.
Now you're the voice actress of Hello Kitty,
Hello, Kitty.
and you also dabble in a couple other characters. What are some of the characters that you love to do?
Well, let's see. I just a lot of Japanese anime, so I'm the voice of Chibiusa in Sailor Moon. As far as video games, Pishi and Yellowheart in Hyper Dimension Neptunia. Nep. Let's see what else. Betty Boop. Yappa-dappa-dappa-dap, boop-boop-be-doop boop. Yeah, and some of the games you might know me from is Disgaea, Flan in Disgaea, Ash and Morona. I play Morona in Phantom Brave. These are those games that go back to retro days.
Oh yeah, old school.
Yeah, old school games.
Old school's best school.
Yeah, and I actually Ghost in the Shell. I'm the Tachikomas, and even in the new game, Tachikoma's in the Ghost in the Shell game. So yeah.
And you're also in Akira, which is one of my personal favorite anime movies.
Yes. Kyoko and Akira. Yeah.
So what do you think about Elma? Because not many people think like, oh, if I'm going to go do a convention, Elma does not come up. Scotland, USA doesn't come up.
Scotland, USA.
So what's your opinion about the region? Obviously, it's snowing, but we don't know how that's going to last. But what do you think of the place?
I love Alma. I'm actually Irish, which is kind of close to Scottish, but I love Alma. I think this is a beautiful con. We really get to spend a lot of time with the attendees one-on-one. And it's just, the snow's beautiful. We're not blizzard snowed in yet. Fingers crossed. But yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, and it's so nice to be. The community seems really lovely. Just a lovely community of fans. So.
Oh yeah, it's loads of fun. I'm actually learning to play the bagpipe, so I got to keep up with the culture. Now.
Oh, your kilt. Where's your kilt?
I haven't earned it yet. But I know you're very busy. You're in the middle of doing some autograph sessions, then a panel. So one thing that I've noticed is this. There's a lot of people that want to try and get into the voice acting industry. It's a tough grind. Not everybody picks up the phone. But here you are as a key staple in the industry. What do you have to say to the boys and girls out there that want to try and get into this field and not only be in it, but also thrive and progress?
Well, I would say definitely I started out as an actor in theater and musical theater on stage. So the foundation of all voice acting is being an actor. It's not having a cute voice or a funny voice. That's a nice part of it, but it's really like the icing part of it for me. The foundation is being an actor and loving performing and acting and playing. So that's really, really important. So if you love acting and you're pursuing a career in acting, then voice acting is like a natural progression out of that. Definitely if you're looking to get into the business, we have a great friend and fellow actor, D. Bradley Baker, who has a website, iwanttobeavoiceactor.com, and that just lays it all out, like the best way to get started, the best things to prepare for, and it's just a great overview of if you want to get into the business, what to do. So
that is a good heading for everybody because it's a good stepping stone, and obviously you have to put in the work in order to make the dream work.
Put in the work, and it has to be something that drives you. It's not money that drives you or fame. It has to be your love and your passion for the art. So yeah, for sure.
Spoken like a true icon in the industry. I know you're very busy, but thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
Until next time. And then, once again, it's your boy, HD Max, live from AlmaCon. I hope you all in chat appreciated a special guest. We're about to progress and get our next one. So from there, then we'll continue to grand final. Should be loads of fun. Get everybody up here. It should be great. So from there, how's everybody doing in chat? Where are you watching from? How are you enjoying your day? We're making sure that everything's all hunky-dory. So from right there, we're going to be just waiting for our next special guest, who, if you were here yesterday, you should be well aware who might be. But should be a nice big surprise. You might know him from a couple of anime, couple comics, couple movies. It's one of those things. So, up there he is right here. Right over your boss. Yep. And then all of a sudden,
Okay.
Mr. Lex comes into play. How are we doing, sir?
We're doing very well. How are you?
Not
How's
too
everybody doing?
Not too bad. We're here live at Twitch at AlmaCon 2019, and just speak a little about yourself. What type of roles are you into? Just to give a little bit of everybody. Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's see. In video games, I'm the voice of Dr. Neo Cortex from the Crash Bandicoot show. I also play Poe Dameron in Battlefront 2, and that's the new one. And in the old one, when it first came out years ago, Battlefront 2, I don't know why they called it the same thing both times, but I was Han Solo in those. If you like to play World of Warcraft, I play Kill Jaden in that one. If you like, if you like Guild Wars, I'm the playable character Char Male from the Char series there. I've been in Titanfall. I play the AI that's in your Titan. It says, your Titan is ready for launch. And all those other things that you get cued on during your play. I've been in Mass Effect. I'm Din Gorlak in Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. I've been in hundreds of games, so odds are you probably heard
Everywhere and anywhere.
Everywhere and
Everywhere and anywhere. Now, we're here live at AlmaCon.
Yes.
When you think of conventions...
Better than being here dead at AlmaCon.
Might as well.
No.
Or undead, whatever.
Or
It's a
undead,
vampire
yes,
reference.
That's right.
But other than that, we're here live at Alma. So what is your opinion on the place? Because when you think of conventions or convention settings, Alma's not really the traditional place that you think of, but you're here anyway. So what's your opinion about being here in Michigan?
Well, firstly, it's extremely cold. They just went through a cold snap, so there's snow everywhere, and so that's a little uncommon for me because I come from sunny Southern California where it's 80 degrees today. I think it's like 19 degrees right now here. And these guys who are locals are wearing shorts, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I got my North Face jacket on. I'm like going to Everest outside. It's amazing. But it's a great campus. It's like super cute. It's a cool campus. So far, everybody that we've met here, including yourself, is all super friendly, super nice. So it's been a super pleasure to be here also, yeah.
All we're doing is just making the dream work. Now, I'll ask you something that I asked Miss Fox just previously.
Yeah.
For all the voice actors and voice actresses that want to try and get into the industry or at least put their foot in, what is some good advice that you can give for people that want to not only just get into the industry, but actually stay in this industry? Because staying relevant, especially in voice acting, is one of those key factors that creates sustainability.
Okay, well, firstly, it's voice acting, so make sure you love acting, because if you just have a funny voice, it's not the same. You probably won't succeed if it's just to do it. Also, don't do it just for money, because money comes and goes, and sometimes there's ebb and flow in the career. So there will be times where it's lucrative, and there'll be times where you're just wondering where the next job will come from. Also, be humble and grateful in your average everyday life, and then those things that you're looking to gravitate towards you will.
All right. And last question, because I know you're extremely busy, especially with autograph sessions and a soon-to-be panel, apparently. What is your favorite character to voice?
Wow,
and where does it come, and when you're voicing said character, obviously the voice had to come from somewhere. Where did you draw that influence?
Wow, that's a great question. I wish I had known that question 5 minutes ago because there's so many characters. It's different because each character comes from a different place. Sometimes characters will come from, you'll look at the image of the character itself, like the illustrator or the person who's doing the animation will show you the image, and let's say it looks outlandish or it looks really flamboyant. You'll generate the voice based on the look of the character. Other times, the director will describe the character to you, and based on the description of the character, you might start to get a sense of that character. Other times, you might have a voice in your head that you use as a sample for a character. For example, in the Naruto series, I play a couple of characters. I play Hayate Gecko. He's the proctor for the fights. He calls all the fights. Well, for some reason, when I first saw Hayate, it reminded me, I don't know why, but it reminded me of Charlie Sheen for some reason. So when I started working on the voice, I kind of had a voice like this. I started thinking about Charlie Sheen and how he might sound, if he was talking or doing something. And then they go, well, now the character's actually got an illness. He coughs all the time. So then I thought, well, if Charlie Sheen were sick, how might his voice sound a little different? and then I was like, next up, Naruto. He's like coughing. And then I also played Teuchi. He's the ramen shop owner on that show. And so that's kind of where it started. That was like the impetus of that actual character for Hayate. And then for Teuchi, the ramen shop guy, when I first saw him, I was like, well, it's got to be vastly different than the other character I do on the show. I played other Jigamo and a few other characters on the show over the arc because it has like 11 billion episodes. Yeah. So they brought me in. They brought me in for a variety of characters on that. But we were trying to come up with a voice that wasn't just like an old man's voice, like Naruto, have some, like he's younger and more vibrant. Yeah, separate myself. So instead of that, I thought, well, like, what's a voice that's got texture? And again, it was kind of a weird scenario, but in my head, that particular day, I was thinking of on the Muppet Show, Rolf the dog. So Rolf the dog kind of talks like this. He's kind of like this kind of voice. And so I thought, like, well, having a texture in here might be a good way to start. It sounds sort of old. So it's like, have some more ramen, Naruto, So, like, if you listen back now, you'll probably be able to associate that a little. If you go, oh, I can kind of hear what he's talking about. There's a little bit of that in there, So those are a couple of things. With Sanosuke from Rurouni Kenshin, that was like one of my very early anime characters. They said, like, we want it to be in your own register, but we want it to have like some courage, also be sort of like, he's this fighter for hire, so he's got this brash sense. So that wasn't exactly my personality. So I started thinking of other characters and other people that I knew who had that in them. And so it kind of took on a cocky attitude. So it was like, come on, Missy, don't you take my picture. You'll steal my soul. Like it had like this little kind of attitudinal that went with it. And that worked out well because as the character arc developed, he softened up and he became more a character about heart than he was about fighting. And it became more about he cared about the people, and he cared about the people who were being picked on or the people who were the underdogs and the people, like nothing got him more upset than when there were like bullies, like right. Bullying was the thing that bothered him the most in the end. And so, I use those motivations to like bring upon characters, and so, that's sort of a cross section of like how characters might happen. Either somebody I know, a voice I'm thinking of that day, something I'm working out with the director at the time. In terms of a favorite character, I've done like 400 different characters in my career. So it's like picking your favorite child, it's like, and I have 400 children, so it's like going, oh, I like this one the best, in terms of my own fandom, in terms of like, I'm a geek in my own way where I have certain things I love a lot. I love the Marvel and DC world a lot. And so for me, when I was asked to play Batman on a few different occasions, and for like Mattel Toys, and for a story arc in Batman Brave and the Bold, also for the DC Batgirl Year One series that's on iTunes, just being chosen for that out of all the actors that auditioned, I was geeking out. Oh, yeah. I was like fully geeking out. Like I hung up the phone. I remember this was actually twice this happened. Once when I was Batman, and then another time I auditioned with 1,600 actors to be the voice of Han Solo for some video games. It was back at, they had GameCube. It was like still GameCube back then. And there was a game called Rogue Squadron 3, I think. Rogue Squadron 3. And it was like Han Solo's debut in it. And I remember getting the call from my agent, and it was after months of auditioning. They did auditions in Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, and Dallas. And after months of auditions, it came down to 4 people. And my agent told me, it's down to 4. Send me these particular lines, and we recorded these lines. I sent them in. And then it was the call. You got Han. So I was really cool on the phone with my agent. I'm like, oh man, that's awesome. That's really great. Thank you so much. I'll see you at the session or whatever. Thanks. I hung up the phone. I'm like, woo! I was screaming. I was literally like a girl running around my house going, oh my God, like it was crazy. So, and the same thing happened for Batman when they said like, you got Batman. I'm like, what the hell? How'd that happen? Pinch me, Even when I'm in these sessions, and I'm at like a Justice League or a Legion of Superheroes or whatever, like the Warner Brothers show might be, or Avengers or whatever it is. I'm always pinching myself. I'm always like, how did I end up in here? God, I'm looking at these other voice actors going, these guys are legends. How did I squeeze into this room? You
And
know?
you just sit there marinating.
I
Hey,
marinate.
I'm here. I'm Batman.
And you're like, I can't believe it. Literally, I swear to you, I literally will pinch myself sometimes in the booth going, I'm dreaming, but I'm still awake. You know, it's like, yeah. So that's kind of the process, and like, it helps to be a geek. You know, I don't have a lot of time to play the games I'm in because having a career in the voice acting industry, especially in Los Angeles, and having a wife and 3 dogs and a cat and other activities that I do, it's like there's not a whole lot of gaming time. You know, if I get free time, it's like I want to lie down and rest. You know. I don't want to concentrate on getting to the next level on something. I want to be like, literally, I just need to rest, you know. So
Rest is key.
rest is key.
Stay
to
hydrated.
Alive, stay hydrated, and rest from sleep once in a while.
Oh yeah, for sure. But thank you again for being here.
You're
That means
welcome.
a lot. And
You're welcome.
once again, we're here live at AlmaCon. It's your boy Lex, and we're making sure that we keep the dream alive. Thank you
Yeah.
again for being here.
Thanks, everybody.
Yep.
And follow me on Instagram. It's at Lex Lang. I think that's the one I'm going with most. I mean, I'm on Facebook and Twitter and all that. But please, at Lex Lang on Instagram. I'm trying to build some followers. I'm kind of new to Instagram, and I think I'm going to just like make that my main social activity. So I'll put a lot of cool stuff up, and I'll do all kinds of, you know, posts and things coming up. So I'm trying to build followers. So if you guys can help, get online, go to Instagram at lexlang.com. That's LEXLANG. And also Sandy Fox. I don't know if she said that too. She's on Instagram too, and as is Richard Epcar. So go check us out. Thanks, guys.
Hashtag make the dream happen. There we go. Thank you again.
Thank you.
That is a reference and a half. Once again, it's your boy HC Max here live at AlmaCon 2019 with our final special guest of the evening. You might know him from little games known as Street Fighter V, maybe Mortal Kombat 11, you know, the indie hits as we would like to call. But and Tekken 7. But Injustice. The who's who of fighting games.
And Kingdom Hearts 3, let's not forget, it just came out.
Oh yeah.
I'm handsome in Kingdom Hearts.
Taking the world by storm, ladies and gentlemen. Richard Epcar, ladies and
Hi, how are you?
Not too bad,
Not
but
to be confused with Abe Schlotnick. Yes. You know him and you love him.
Oh,
You
for
can't
sure.
live without him.
now we just went through a couple of folks in your roster. What other characters do you voice? And let's give a little play-by-play of what you like.
Well, I've done over 600 characters, so I'm not going to name them all
All right,
right
so
now,
the first one.
First, I couldn't even remember them all. So, well, some of the bigger ones are Bato and Ghost in the Shell, Joseph Joestar in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure,
Love it.
Jigen in Lupin the Third, Raiden in Mortal Kombat, as you mentioned, and Akuma in Street Fighter V, and there's so many of them. It's hard to remember them all. I know I'm forgetting at least 598.
About 500.
So, but yes,
It seems like you expand your range in all sorts of characters.
Yes.
A lot of brutes, a lot of older men, but also a lot of varying
Older
characters. A lot of varying characters.
heroes, villains.
Villains.
No dentists. I don't play any dentists.
Not yet, at least.
No, that is-
Now, how is, like, do you find difficulty trying to stir up that range of characters? One of the questions I asked Lex a little bit while ago is finding that influence, finding that drive of when you see a character on that sheet, oh, this is what I'm inspiring this voice by. Like, what is your process for determining what this character should sound like?
Well, I'm a very visceral kind of an actor, and if I can go in, you know, a lot of people don't realize this, but we don't see the scripts for the games or for the anime until we're in the booth. If you do an original animation, they'll send you the script, but these other things, you basically don't see it until you show up. So if I can see a picture of the character, it helps me tremendously, and then I can conjure up something in my mind, and I can come up with a character. I always look at the picture and I think to myself, what does that character sound like? So I try to create a voice that is going to look like it's going to come out of that character's mouth, believably.
And now, with that being said, especially with anime dubs and video game dubbing, you have not necessarily that standard, but you have that Japanese voice actor not only to compare yourself with, but also to learn from. Getting a character like Joseph Joestar with the whole, oh my god, like, what is your process in order to not only use that as an influence, but use that as making, like, as an homage or like an impacting part of your performance?
Well, a lot of it depends on the director, and a lot of it depends on the clients and that sort of thing, and how close they want you to sound like the original and that sort of thing. Honestly, I don't really care about the original. I mean, you certainly hear it, but I try to come at it from an organic place. I try to create the character so that it's believable, and I don't want to just go in there and try to ape somebody else's performance. That's not acting to me. That's just being a mimic,
Right.
and I would prefer not to do that.
And with yourself being a mainstay and, dare I say, icon of the industry,
You could say that.
I'd be more than welcome to. For sustaining this long of a career that you have, that you are basically well known for the characters that you play, what do you got to say to the inspiring voice actors or actresses that want to not just stay in the industry, but get into the industry and being relevant to the point where they can be able to be up there with names like yourself and Lex and Sandy?
Well, I think, the big mistake a lot of people, they think it's going to be an easy cakewalk to do what we do. And I think that first of all, they have to realize it's a super competitive business, and that in order to be good at this, you really have to be the best actor you can be, because you want to bring those characters to life. My recommendation to anyone who wants to do this work is to be the best actor you can be. Do a lot of theater, read, but also read out loud, because as I said, we don't get to see the scripts till we go in there, and you can't go in there and start fumbling around and trying to figure it out. You have to jump in and do it and make it come to life. So read out loud, be a good actor, be a good person, and
Embrace that grind.
yeah, exactly. And also, I have a passion and a joy for what I do. And when you go in and you really enjoy something and you're passionate about it, it transcends to the audience. So I think if you have that enjoyment, the people are going to read it and enjoy it as well.
Well, embrace the grind. Iron sharpens iron. Thank you once again for joining us tonight.
Don't be Abe Schlotnick is what the moral of the story is.
Do not be Abe Schlotnick.
Don't be Abe Schlotnick.
Hashtag don't be Abe Schlotnick. But in the end, thank you again for joining us today.
pleasure.
Made this stream and this event an epic one. AlmaCon 2019, here with your boy, Mr. Richard Epcar. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure being here at AlmaCon, and we've really enjoyed our time here.
I'm glad to hear that. Stay tuned. We're going to go for our bracket reset of our grand finals for Smash Brothers Ultimate. Winner takes the pot. Over $100 on the line. Second place gets 20. Get hype, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Oh my God!